on getting the video I did from Jeff City last week to put it up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. And the sun was just incredible, like the corona and all that.
Yeah, because you can take your glasses off whenever it covers the sun. So we're at 2.5 minutes. You can look at it. I got video of it, and then I video also of our reaction. Like we were at a park on a down slope, and you can see people down with us, and like you hear the bugs and start to come out and start to sing, and then the birds all go to the trees, and it's fucking awesome. Yeah,
that is awesome.
Another one coming up in 2024.
Must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is our weekly podcast that delivers a minute-by-minute breakdown of the 1986 Transformers movie. This is your episode 26. We'll be covering from 25:01 to the 26-minute mark. And joining me to talk about this minute in all black, my somber, sadness-stricken associates.
I am in mourning. I am Ryan, and I am in mourning.
I'm Caleb, and there is no God.
I mean, what can we say? These are rough times.
Ugh.
Prime is dying. We're in the process of passing the mantle of leadership to Ultra Magnus, and we had to have this awkward cut in the middle of his speech. Where we left it last episode, he was kind of rebuffing Ultra Magnus's claim of unworthiness, and he kind of left it with "nor was I, but one day an Autobot shall rise from our ranks," and that's where our minute starts, to use the power of the Matrix to light our darkest
And honestly,
hour.
like watching this, even with like in light of the podcast and like with you guys here, I really got a little. I mean, I cry really easily, but I got choked up and was like, I did get a little misty just watching this.
That's tough.
It is. I mean, it's everything is done so well, from the animation to the music to the, and I'll get more into that kind of as we proceed through the minute. But I mean, it was just, they were able to sonically shift the tone from like bereavement to kind of wonder and awe, and then back to bereavement. But it was effective. It was not. It wasn't harsh.
Yeah, it's great. That shift back to bereavement, especially. But I mean, we'll cover that later.
So Prime opens his chest. He reveals the some really interesting circuitry in there that we'd never seen before.
It's really pretty and intricate in there. I love the design of the Matrix too, which is kind of like pretty unique. I mean, it's interesting, and this is another thing of like, presumably all Autobots have a cavity for the Matrix, just in case maybe not Wheelie, but just in case they become the leader. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question, because when Ultra Magnus receives it, he just casually puts it inside his cavity.
That sounds so filthy.
Well, I knew you would say something.
I was going to get into that at some point about talking about the false modesty on Ultra Magnus. I'm just a soldier. It's like, you have a perfect Matrix hole in your chest.
Matrix hole.
Like, we all know that Rodimus must have one too. And so, yeah, I think the same question. Like, do they all have it, or just are there certain sort of classes of Autobot that have it, and some will never have it, or
it again
whatever.
goes back to like maybe this whole metaphysical thing of like there's some cognitive issue of like you can rearrange your internal, like your transformation can be changed and stuff like that.
Maybe, I'm sure that, I mean, obviously some of them that have these Matrix holes never are able to
we'd have to refer
use
to
them.
it
So
as
I would
Matrix
think that
hole.
they would put keep other things in there, like
it's just like a fanny pack.
Yeah, like imagine Rodimus opening up his chest and a bunch of crackers fall out and loose change.
See, I thought porno books.
Right. Yeah.
Either way, he's a slob. He doesn't use his Matrix hole
garbage.
what it's
Empty.
used for.
It's old, like crinkled up aluminum cans.
Empty styrofoam cups from the gas station.
I mean, he is the party boy of the Transformers,
true.
right? So why not?
Bags of cocaine.
Oh yeah,
Like just
it's a drug
an
mule.
ashtray with like hundreds of cigarette butts.
Oh, it's funny. Oh,
So-
back to the dying.
Yeah, so this animation here, we keep talking about we're going to do research on how animation is done, but this whole crystalline
why not?
orb of shimmering amazingness is
Yep.
pretty awesome. Matrix is, so it's this orb, it's in this structure with handles, which Prime doesn't use, by the way, but the camera zooms into the orb, and then we kind of see it zoom out on Prime's body. So at this point, even the sound effect, for lack of a better phrase, is shimmering. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just very...
And they-
swells.
They stand back in like surprise.
Or I think it's more awe. I think
Yeah.
they probably, most of these Autobots have never seen this before.
There's your cords, by the way, going from the
They
machine
go to the bed.
to the table. I'm sure they
Yeah.
can. Okay.
We're at
Sorry,
2519.
talking about the issue last episode.
At 25, that's correct. Yeah, last episode we talked about how there wasn't cords attached to Prime. How were the readings happening on the monitor, and also it was a script deviation. It'd be funny if somebody tripped over a cord.
It turned into a Jerry Lewis movie. Oh no.
Okay.
Flavin.
Okay.
Actually,
R.I.P. Jerry Lewis, by the way.
Oh yeah, R.I.P. Jerry Lewis.
I wonder if
He died too.
Speaking of dying.
All
the
right.
Optimus Prime of comedians. No.
I
No.
think so.
I mean, he's fine. He's fine. France loves him.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
France's Optimus Prime of comedians. So Prime is going to reach into his chest. Let's see if you guys can spot the animation error
All right.
here.
Okay.
Pause it.
It's paused, and
I'm getting
At
better.
25-21, and we're going
and
forward.
Did you see it?
No.
It's already happened.
No,
No,
I
do it
didn't.
again.
Let's see if I can reverse it.
I bet I
frame
know.
by
I bet I
frame.
already know. It's,
Oh, there's a double matrix.
There's a double matrix.
What second are we at here?
that's weird.
We are at
25-22.
Yeah.
When Prime lifts the matrix out of his chest, there's a second matrix in his chest that does not have the glowing orb inside it.
That's right.
I thought
I did not notice that at all.
I thought it was a strange thing. It would be about the angle of his arms trying to get inside of his chest cavity.
He could never pull it out of his own chest that way. He's not articulated enough.
Yeah. So, but
Wow.
that's weird. So maybe that's symbolic of like he's given the leadership away, but then he's not really giving it away.
And
I
he
mean,
doesn't really.
He gets it back twice after
Yeah.
this.
So everybody pretty much agrees that if he's around, he should just have that
Yes,
thing.
and even to the point of like in the ones where he comes back the first time, Hot Rod forces them. Well, Rodimus forces the Matrix upon him, even though Optimus is like, no, take it.
Damn it, Hot
And for reason I do not remember, it makes him evil.
I think he was already sort of screwed up. Anyway, I don't know.
We don't have to cover that.
So Prime, as we said, he's reached into his chest. He's pulled out the Matrix. He's handing it towards who we would assume is Ultra Magnus.
But then he
Drops it.
and he speaks his final words until the day
Till all are one.
which is awkward phrasing to me. But
I
that's,
don't like the until
Yeah.
together. Yeah, it's a repeated word, but
Why can't we just say until the day when
listen,
all are one?
he is not in good shape.
no.
Fuck Prime. Be like articulate with your
You're
language.
waiting for like someone in the room to like correct him.
The Prime.
Prime shouldn't. Yeah, it'd be Perceptor.
I don't believe you're
Prime.
using the correct verbiage. I mean, do you want to repeat that word? Maybe
And then
you
just
think-
like Tupac, Prime's final words would be
Fuck you.
Perceptor.
You, Perceptor.
So Prime loses strength in his hands, and the Matrix
tumbles from
falls
his fingers.
from it. Gosh, it's just like even that is sad. Like like this is
Yeah.
it.
25, 28. Yeah.
The Matrix falls towards the ground.
Everybody runs toward it.
Yeah, everybody's trying to recover it, and Hot Rod happens to be the one that scoops it up. And at this scene is very mystical. This is where the music really gets shimmering, I think, at this part. And this is where their tone really changes again from somber to spiritual. And we realize there's kind of some sacred Autobot magic taking place here.
It's
but
pretty heavy-handed with the foreshadowing.
it really is.
What? That the whole screen turns blue.
And he holds it up.
Really blinding, and even the shadow shifts somehow. So, the instant Hot Rod catches it. There's an interesting pulsing, highlights, shadows. He stands up, lifts the Matrix upward, and as a kid, this entire moment, I mean, I think it did what it was supposed to do, which is to indicate that Hot Rod is supposed to be the guy. But what I also wasn't sure of, or was always questionable to me, was that I thought that maybe Hot Rod became the guy because he was the first one to touch it.
The Matrix?
Like catching the bouquet at a wedding.
Exactly, right, exactly. So
maybe.
So if he hadn't have caught it, maybe if it would have landed in Ultra Magnus' hands first, it wouldn't have imprinted on...
God, what if it would have landed in Daniel's hands?
That would have been awesome.
It would have crushed him.
Excellent.
Ow!
It's just one of the many times he dies in this movie.
Leg.
And as a kid, I remember so dumb, like the kid rationale of thinking like, oh, he could have just taken it there and everything would have been great. And I'm like, I know as an adult they were like, he's not not morally, but he's not ready yet. Yes,
he's not ready.
He needs to get some experience. Yeah, but
Was it the right time?
That's right.
We needed to have some more movie first.
Right.
Yeah, because it could. Well, yes.
Again, we keep picking out great parts to just end the movie. Where
right? Why didn't this? Because movie.
So I guess we assumed then the Matrix knew that Hot Rod would eventually be his partner, and this was just a visual storytelling clue, foreshadowing, if you will, as to.
Yeah.
I have an interesting point about that. I don't know if we go into this now. I have a lot about the Matrix.
Good, because I'm very curious about this Matrix.
We mentioned in an early episode why the Cybertronians don't know of Unicron if they possess the only means of destroying him, and I went down this huge rabbit hole, mostly on the TF Wiki, about what the Matrix is. And it is really convoluted. Like, there's a lot of, ins and outs. And like I said, Bob Budiansky created it as the Creation Matrix. And he created it in the comics because he wanted them to be asexual, but they needed a way to reproduce. Okay. And so he created the Creation Matrix as like a way to reproduce. And so essentially, the Matrix is kind of like a conduit for Primus's power, which Primus was the creator. Well, the Quintessons in the cartoon were the creator of the Transformers, but Primus is basically Cybertron. Primus is Cybertron. And so this is like a vessel for his soul, and it's a vessel for all the souls of the Autobot leaders. And it's the antithesis to Unicron, and maybe it's just like in their mythology, the Transformers have forgotten about Unicron.
Sure, I can get behind that.
And then again, it was into Beast Machines when we expanded the idea of the Allspark, where the physical Matrix was like a gateway to the Matrix or the Allspark.
Interesting.
Yeah, to your point, was around in the Marvel Comics very early on in the series. It was called the Creation Matrix, although, and its function was to create new Transformers, but it just so happened the leader of the Autobots is the one that housed it.
Possess it.
But it became kind of a device throughout the series. The Decepticons would try and grab it. I think Shockwave wanted to get it to, build a Decepticon army early on, and then later on it became possessed sort of by darkness at one point.
What you said, Aaron, was about like the Matrix may know that Hot Rod is the one that's going to inherit it, and where in the comics, later on in the comics, the Matrix does become self-aware, where it's after the comics movie where Optimus Prime flies into Unicron and destroys him with the Matrix, and then his body is crash landed on a separate planet. I guess the Autobots didn't know the Matrix was in there. I don't really remember that part. But the Matrix becomes self-aware, and then Lord Thunderwing, which is an evil... I don't know if he's even a Decepticon, but...
he's a pretender. He was a Decepticon.
Okay.
He became the leader of them.
Yeah, he finds the Matrix, and the Matrix is talking about, I am Primus, I'm Prime Nova, I'm Sentinel Prime, I'm Optimus Prime. And it's like, I've known good, but I would know more, and it wants to know evil. So that's why it binds with Lord Thunderwing, because it wants to know the evil side of the world. Like it's going through its bad phase.
I guess, yeah.
So I guess I'm of one of two minds here. Is this Matrix? And I'd say, if we talk about our iconic moments, this moment at 25:37 is a pretty iconic moment where Hot Rod is lifting it up. The screen is, blindingly blue. It feels like there's some connection here between the object and Hot Rod. So is this Matrix, are we to believe it's sentient and that it's responding to Hot Rod, or is this purely just a storytelling moment to let us know that Hot Rod is a part of it, or is this really happening? Is everybody in the room seeing this?
I don't think
so. I think it's both your first two things. It's well, oh God.
Like the Matrix knows.
The Matrix knows. And also it's helping foreshadowing.
I mean, I guess if you think about it, when when they're on Junkion later, like the Matrix Ultra Magnus is the rightful heir to this thing as of right now. He can't open it. Right. Matrix is saying, "This ain't our darkest hour. Fuck you."
Right. Yeah.
Hold up on this.
Yeah. I mean, that also implies that the Matrix has like an ESP, like it can foretell the future.
I would think that.
Well, presumably the Matrix knows it's going to have to deal with Unicron at some point.
It already knows. Right. It already knows. There's a prophecy involved. It knows.
And like later in just the next scene, probably we see that like Unicron can see what is happening to the Matrix, and so I think we're giving maybe too much credit to the movie. I think it was just like really heavy-handed foreshadowing, but we can also connect it in the world of what the Matrix is.
And you can also put a lot of. I mean, you can tell that like the writers are pulling from a lot of religious.
Yeah,
and that's at this point you really don't know exactly the religious aspect, or still like they don't really even get into what's going on inside that ball until season 3 of the show. Like, there's these moments where they somehow, I don't know, bond with the Matrix or get into it, and so that the leaders can talk to the old leaders, and they're really creepy, interesting things.
Yeah, like Optimus Prime travels into the Matrix to get the answers to the Rage virus, and he's like, the Matrix leaders are like, don't go too far or you'll get lost, and it is like a very religious, spiritual thing, whereas also the Decepticons don't necessarily think the Matrix is a like deified item, but they want the power that it provides.
I think it's a real smart on the writer's part to minimize it and know that the audience is smart enough to get it, and it can be just ambiguous enough because they know that people in the real world have enough knowledge of religion to kind of fill in the blanks.
Right. And that's true, and I don't know whether it was a conscious effort or not, but there's a lot of places, and this is one of them, in the movie where there is like restraint showed of like, we don't need to show and we don't need to tell too much, we're just going to show, and everybody gets it.
Yep.
So, and the other thing to remember is, in context of the movie, we don't know that this thing has a connection to Unicron yet. Right. Unicron hasn't spilled those beans. We just know that this big thing exists.
Well, we know that it's going to be a big part of
Right, and we know that this. I mean, we don't. But essentially,
that's
this
true.
Is
we don't know yet that this has anything to do with Unicron.
But this is going to serve as. I mean, we'll know pretty quickly because after the transfer happens, we're gonna that goes into the next minute. If I'm not mistaken. But I mean, basically, this is the storytelling device going forward. Like this thing, this is like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
It's
like,
the MacGuffin.
We've got to follow this thing around wherever it is. So Hot Rod is going to transfer that Matrix over to our boy Ultra Magnus.
Like, here you go, you drop this.
And Ultra Magnus is going to take it and open his chest cavity, and he's got a perfect Matrix hole.
And this is at 25:52. I think we have the same point, maybe,
about him struggling to fit
the double tap
in the cavity. Yeah, it is always. I always looked at it as an interesting moment, and I think post watching it as a kid, I looked at it as foreshadowing that he wasn't the true leader. That it didn't fit perfectly in his chest. But a lot of other people will say it's an animation error, is what my research said.
I can't imagine an animation error,
but I can't imagine them. I can't imagine the illustrators consciously going with that.
Yeah, because that's more animation. You're animating more things, so like
you put it right in there.
Yeah,
put it
just
right
close
in
it there. But then
he
adjusts it, and we're at
takes it back
25:50.
Oh, weird. Why was that decided on?
Yeah, I mean, and I was actually, I'm glad we looked at it in slow motion like this, because I thought that maybe, well, it was a glitch going back to where he first put it in, but his chest, but he did that with one hand, and that was like a two-handed reach up there.
Look how fast he puts it in with that first time. It like almost pops in there, and they might have thought
it's not
enough, so they do
so
it
we
again.
could take it for so we could
watch how fast it goes.
Or just
watch.
Just readjust. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe just use the second take then.
It could just be that we're way looking into it. I don't know if it is just if it's not meant to mean that he's not the true leader because it doesn't fit perfectly.
That's
fine,
pretty deep.
But why do this adjustment thing? That's totally unnecessary.
Why at all?
I don't know. That's interesting. I think we're overthinking it, but at the same time,
also,
it was done.
Yeah.
So here, I mean, not to jump way ahead, but why is Hot Rod the only one who evolves whenever he gets the Matrix?
We've talked about this. Doesn't Prime change? But you're saying
no, he doesn't. He doesn't change form. Because whenever Prime is created as a battle form in the original episodes, he is just the form he is. Right. So he gets the Matrix and he just becomes leader from Sentinel Prime. But here, Ultra Magnus gets the Matrix, doesn't change at all. Hot Rod evolves like a Digimon or something. I don't know.
I think they have to do something to show. I mean,
he's the rightful heir.
No, what I think that this story is ultimately about growth, change and responsibility, and yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because they had 2 toys to sell. But
is that the real answer?
But they had to do something. I mean, so they had to symbolically and show him mature.
Yeah, maybe. I guess maybe also like Ultra Magnus looks leaderly, like he's a big,
he's already
statuesque, like somber character, and Hot Rod looks like a fucking teenage kid robot.
Yeah. I would posit that, and we can do the research, and this probably the time to pick this up is probably towards the end.
Yep.
But
I know I jumped ahead.
But I would guess a couple of things. It's probably not the toy thing necessarily, because I think at this phase in the design world, they were designing toys to fit the story, not retroactively writing a story around toys that existed. So it's probably not that. I think that probably they felt like for the viewer, your only leaders have trailers, and I feel like it just was maybe like a connection to leadership that this guy's got to have a trailer now, and so now he's a Winnebago or something instead of just and maybe that trailer, just like the midlife crisis young man in the sports car ultimately gets the Winnebago and retires. It's like maybe that's a little too deep, but I think it's just a symbol of like
they're writing it for
kind of
a lot of kids that are on the cusp of becoming adults, and the challenges and that face you on becoming a responsible.
It's symbolic of the new burden that he has responsibility.
So he's going through puberty.
Yeah,
second
sure.
puberty.
Yeah. I think that's...
I can agree with that. I think that yes, maybe they were trying to like show that he is now become more mature through his struggles and is worthy of the Matrix.
Yeah, and you've there with puberty becomes pubes.
So the trailer is Hot Rod's pubes.
I was going to say something a lot more.
What were you?
I was going to say with puberty comes, negotiating a path to responsibility.
But I think he's beyond puberty. It's like he's graduated college and has a real job.
That
Although
too,
you get the leadership position, he should be in the workforce and have a history of proven success.
Either way, I know I jumped way ahead. I just wanted to address that because it's weird.
Copy and paste for episode 83.
Let's pick it up again next year.
So at this point, the shot now goes back to somber mode. We've had this mystical moment, and now it's this really intense. I feel like it's almost meant to kind of mimic a heartbeat of
like an
intense synthesized tones, and we focus on the monitor
again, where the music changes.
Right, exactly. And the monitor and the music are kind of in sync, and that's where the movie basically it's sort of the
25-58
moment is our minute ends. So
Flatline.
Yeah, it flatlines, and then our next minute begins with some more sadness.
More death process.
Yeah. Voice actors. So obviously there is nothing new from the movie standpoint, but I thought I'd take a second. I thought I maybe already talked about this, so if I did, we can edit this out, but everything seemed new to me when I looked it up. And that is Jack Angel. He took over for the voice of Ultra Magnus after the movie. And
we talked about. I actually asked because I was like, Robert Stack certainly didn't continue with that voice, and I was like, who did? And that I think was the extent of it.
Okay, maybe so. I couldn't find it in my notes. So he was actually, Jack Angel was a very popular radio personality in Los Angeles. He was a big deal, and also did stage productions. And he started doing voiceover work in the 70s. So there's an enormous list. There is always an enormous list, but I always pick out kind of the ones that were most interesting.
Stand out to us.
Super Friends, Scooby-Doo, Spider-Man. He was a very utility player. Most of his credits are additional voices, but
so the character actor of voice actors.
Right, exactly, basically. But which is interesting because he had a very magnanimous, his Ultra Magnus voice was very magnanimous. He did a great job with it. But Snorks, he was King Zarkon in Voltron. Oh. He was Wetsuit in G.I. Joe. Tailspin, Darkwing Duck. He did a lot of Disney stuff. I didn't know Kid and Play had a cartoon.
I did not know that either.
Roger Rabbit, Aladdin, a lot of Disney stuff, a lot of Pixar stuff. He, in live action, did a lot of voices. So anytime there was kind of a weird voice... he was Beetlejuice, the movie AI, Fifth Element. In Beetlejuice, I think specifically he was the voice of the minister that was marrying them. Do you, Beetlejuice, take? Okay. I think he did that voice. Yeah. And for Transformers, in addition to Ultra Magnus, he voiced Ramjet, Smokescreen, Omega Supreme, Astro Train, and Cyclonus.
Omega Supreme.
And he is still alive. He has a very interesting website. Yeah. Very interesting website. You can actually hear his voice reels over if you're interested. And there's some Transformer stuff on there.
So what's his name?
That is...
Chris Angel. Jack Angel.
Jack Angel. His name is Jack Angel.
Nice.
So that's all I got there.
Okay.
Well, I guess we're done.
Bye.
Oh, is there a thing? Oh, you guys know what it's time for.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Script deviations.
All right. Well, I have... this one's weird. It's a lot. Because in this script, the Matrix as a physical object does not exist. So it's more of again, with the Allspark or the Spark or whatever. I'm just gonna straight read this from the script because it is fascinating. Titan shot on Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime. A distraught Ultra Magnus Nas reaches out with a free hand, points forefinger at Optimus Prime's chest. A glowing beam shines from his finger to chest, and then a sunburst effect, like opening a door on heaven. A door in Prime's chest opens, revealing a pure white light, and a column of that light goes from Optimus's chest across to a similar spot on Ultra Magnus's chest, where a similar door opens to let that column of light in. Then Optimus Prime's life spark floats out. The life spark is a glowing, pulsating, visible creature of pure radiant energy in the form of a miniature Optimus Prime.
What the fuck?
Accompanied by ethereal, bell-like sounds, that life spark goes from Prime's chest to Ultra Magnus's chest. The chest doors close, and the ethereal light and sound stop. Optimus Prime lies back with a contented sigh, his face and entire body bathed in ethereal afterglow, which bonds him faintly with Ultra Magnus. Now, this begs one question. There's a little bit more, but this begs the question of, I haven't read ahead, so how does Galvatron take the Matrix?
That'll be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
In that,
just rips it from Ultra Magnus.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tiny Ultra Magnus that he takes out of it.
Oh, very cute.
And then Optimus Prime says, "Now I take my leave, dear friends, but I am not gone. I am forever one with each of you, till all life sparks are one." And the Autobots repeat the cry.
Till all life sparks are one.
So that is very different.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And it comes in play coming up with Megatron when he dies too.
Ooh, that's right. We're gonna see him enshrined, perhaps? No, because
that's what
he said he wanted to have.
Yes,
done.
and it is so fucked up what happens. It is so bananas. I can't wait to get to it.
Enshrined me. So in my version, it's a little more evolved from that. Prime gives his Till All Are One speech, but he doesn't open his chest and hand it over to Ultra Magnus, kind of like where yours was. Prime is tilted up on a platform. Mm-hmm. Ultra Magnus then presses a button on Prime's chest. The secret doorway appears. Ultra Magnus reaches inside the chest and pulls the Matrix out for himself. It glows intensely. Ultra Magnus puts it in his own chest, closes the door, and then there's sort of an energy burst after that happens where Ultra Magnus's eyes glow, I guess indicating his new power and prestige.
I kind of like that. I wish they'd included that.
In both of these versions, there's no mention of the hot rod
intervention. Yeah, that's true. I didn't even pick up on that. You're right.
At some point, they had to decide we need to clue the audience in.
Again, I think that was like a studio note where they're like, "Hey, we need to fucking the kids aren't gonna get it if they don't know the hot rod's gonna." That's not even an accent. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, think about if that scene didn't exist. How weird would it be at the end of the movie when Hot Rod?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It does come out of
you
fucking
might not really
nowhere.
Understand.
It comes out of nowhere. Yeah. Wow.
So that was a critical decision. I mean, as small as it was, it's a very critical decision. I just wrote in my notes, it would have been funny if in the original script, Ultra Magnus dropped the Matrix, bobbling it like a fumbled football. I don't know why. I think that's funny, but...
Oh, no!
Maybe he trips over those cords. And
oh, God. It becomes like a slapsticky...
Imagine Optimus dropping it and it falls through a grate in the floor.
Oh, no.
It's kind of like, oh.
And they like have a magnet on a stick. They're trying to get it.
Someone get a Phillips head screwdriver pronto.
A rat comes up and drags it off.
Rat bat comes and takes it.
Oh, rat bat.
But he is not a rat at all. Well, that's
it's just weird. Why rat bat? Yeah,
that's a dumb name.
Huh?
I hate you, Rat Bat.
You're bad.
I like
you
Rat Bat.
Feel bad.
It's not his fault.
He didn't name himself.
No.
I guess that's true, maybe. So next episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to talk about it.
No?
Just get the tissues and.
Yeah, it's rough. It's gonna be bad. You all know what's coming. You presume. I would love the idea that there's somebody who's listening to this podcast who's never seen this movie. It's like trying to imagine the movie that we're talking about just from our like verbal.
And they're probably getting all confused from the deviations, and maybe they're really picturing this magical masterpiece of what this could have been.
This is another thing where like the tiny Optimus Prime floating out of the chest. I want that to be in the movie where Hot Rod has three fishing three fish and throws his pole into the ground, and
all part of
Daniel's on a bike.
Ironhide and Ratchet are melted together from laser fire, and
it's all the most bonkers parts of this.
The acidy mist of Unicron envelops Lython.
The ingester.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, that's it. So please listen to the show. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. We're on the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All of them you can find us at Autopod Decepticast. And we've got this pretty cool little web presence, autopoddecepticast.com. We like to update that. So
yep, I put a bunch of like anytime we mention something that has nothing to do with Transformers, I put up a video of it on the website, and go and enjoy it.
And even if it does have to do with Transformers,
sometimes that's true.
Tangentially, I think essentially we want to try and make it very encyclopedic. We're kind of doing this in volumes anyway, so there's just lots of more deviations and deep dives.
That's
I should say. So if you're an iTunes user, by the way, please rate and subscribe.
5 stars, please. It really does help.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Is that going to be the new sign off?
Ryan, you had a sign out.
I did. I think you're going to hate it.
Oh, God.
All right. So my idea, and I could do this in either my voice.
Oh, God. Or no voice. Like without,
or a Casey Kasem voice. So this was my idea. So until our next minute, keep your feet on the ground and straight go fuck yourself.
I think it's funny. I think to use it every single
episode. It seems aggressive.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of saying, Casey Kasem, take us out of here or something, and having a consistent Casey Kasem themed thing if it's not go fuck yourself. But
if we do that, then I don't think... I think that you edit in audio after we end the episode with some extra content. If we had a sign off that had special material and then we had more material after that, it drags it out too much.
My idea the whole reason I wanted to do a sign off is just because I think we kind of limp to the end because
Are we still in the episode right now?
I'll take them.
I mean, we're recording.
It's just a conversation, but I'll take about it.
I don't care.
Yeah, but it's just as Aaron pointed out, we tend to like keep talking after we say goodbye and stuff, and I'm like, I think that's because we just don't have a hard out, which is like we don't have a sign off. We were say like goodbye.
We say goodbye or eat a dick or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean. Yeah, but it's not like...
I get it that most podcasts that are notable have some kind of something, so I'm open to it. I don't think it needs to be inherently crass.
Sure. And actually, as I was on my way here, I'm starting to rethink it. I'm like, that seems... Especially, I don't know why you...
There's enough inherent crassness in this.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't know why in this podcast that is very linear, why you jump into a random episode, but if you did, that wouldn't make sense.
What do you mean?
Just because it's a callback to something Casey Kasem said in another episode.
I like we wrap it up pretty well. We say bye. And
you could argue our sign off is the music, the theme music serves that function.
Yes.
All right.
But I'm still open if something comes up.
If something comes up that
if
feels
it's created,
right, sure,
we can all challenge ourselves.
I guess I don't care about the ending of it, but I thought that so until our next minute was a good.
That's not bad.
But also Aaron does it. I mean, there's a structure. Aaron summarizes what's going to happen in the
right.
He alludes, and then we say bye, and that's fine. And then there's additional content that follows.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So maybe just me.
I guess. I mean, I'm not
opposed to it.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't see there being an issue. I think it's working very well right now. But if we develop a tagline, I mean, we've got 50 episodes left to go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's only like 2/3 of what we've already done. Like we're a third of the way through this.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Way to go, guys! It's weird to think 25 episodes.
Kind of sad about it though. I'm like,
I'm not.
What?
My wife's not.
Oh, she does not care for it.
It's more about my time that I spend doing it than anything. But it's not the podcast itself. Okay, so I'll do like a. That's your signal.
Everybody clap your hands.